Whether you're a new player starting out or a vet that's old and rusty, Apocalypse Rising 2 is a survival PvP shooter, but you already knew that. This game goes really deep with some of the intricacies of gathering loot, collecting cosmetics, and survival. This is the ultimate guide to AR2. There will be timestamps in the description to the different aspects of gameplay if you're here for any part in particular, whether it be spawning, looting, survival, or events. Let us begin. Before you even spawn in, the first thing you're going to want to do is turn your FOV up to 90 and adjust your sound settings to how you please. Upon spawning, you're going to be blessed with a snub nose, some ammo, a flashlight, bandages, a pocket knife, a drink, and a hearty can of beans. Chances are you're going to end up at one of these spots on the map. These locations are strategically placed to ensure a gradual progression northways to the better loot spots. And because they aren't on screen anymore, it's left shift to run and right shift to auto run. If you start getting chased by zombies, for the love of God, do not shoot them. It wastes ammo and it alerts other players to where you are. Press 3 to pull out your melee and knife them, and if you backstab them while they're not aggro, it's an insta-kill. When you begin to move around the map, it's helpful to keep in mind that you cannot open garage doors from the outside and all windows are breakable via knife or gunfire. You spawn in with basically nothing, and soon you're going to need food and water, so now we move on to looting. The places you will go should be determined by what you need. Say for example, you're good on meds and ammo, but you need food and drinks. You should look for gas stations, fridges in houses, cardboard boxes, bins or barrels, with the best food being MREs and the best drink being water. Both are commonly dropped by military zombies, distinguished by their olive green or camo clothes, or found in these green crates in military areas like the military relay, naval air station or university. If you need meds, you'll generally find these med boxes in buildings around the whole map, with these green ones found in military areas that can spawn military medkits, which are the best ones. Or you can find bandages and small meds in these orange equipment cases, medical chests, or small cabinets scattered around the map. For ammo, where you should look depends on the caliber, with 9mm, 45 ACP, 44 Magnum, 30-06 and 12 gauge being found in various civilian cases or alongside guns that use them. NATO ammo is found in military ammo boxes, as ground loot in military zones, dropped by military zombies, or found alongside guns that use them. Soviet ammo covers 7.62 Soviet, 7.62 Soviet rimmed, 5.45 Soviet, 9mm Soviet, and 9mm subsonic. Generally, these are found on their own in Soviet ammo crates, alongside any weapon that uses a corresponding ammo type, or as ground loot in Soviet locations, such as Mansion, coastal bunkers, or the Soviet cave west of Casino. 357 Magnum is only found alongside the Python secondary or the Trapper's Model 94 special weapon, and 30 carbine is only found alongside the M1 and M2 carbine rifles. Some of these ammunition types have space-efficient ways of carrying them, being cans or battle packs, with these items being some of the more rare items in the game and only spawning in particular areas where their corresponding ammo spawns, such as the 5.56 battle pack spawning rarely in some military areas, and on top of this crate in military convoy random events. The 7.62 battle pack rarely spawns in NAS or dropped by this particular zombie that spawns in this house by NAS. The 5.45 Soviet can spawns here in Mansion and at Soviet camps. The 7.62 Soviet can spawn in Magnolia Tactical or Mansion. The 7.62 Soviet rimmed can spawn in Mansion. The 30-06 can spawn in various locations such as NAS or gun stores, but I found one in NATO house. And the 9mm subsonic can spawn in Spetsnaz camp, Soviet camp, or Swamp Chapel. You will notice that some of these items have a rare tag on them, and that does not necessarily mean that they are rare in a scarcity sense, just that they are unique loot and you typically have to go out of your way to get them. Do not pay this particular tag any mind. Other tags, however, like utility, special, or event, determine whether an item is an equipable utility, a rare drop from a special zombie, or is limited to an in-game event. Now, if you're looking for better guns, well, you have over 80 unique firearms to choose from. There are a few loot rules when it comes to looting guns. Number 1, every gun has a hidden class, some have 2, associated with it that it dictates the crate it can spawn in. Number 2, any zombie which has a gun visible on its person will always drop it. Same rule applies to backpacks, but not cosmetics. Number 3, not every zombie that drops a gun will have it visible on their person. And number 4, every gun that is dropped from a zombie or found in a crate will have a full mag already loaded. Without further ado, let's move on to the guns. First off, we have the civilian guns, which spawn in these crates found in civilian houses or dropped by random civilian zombies. Then we have surplus weapons, which are generally similar in performance to and have some overlap with civilian weapons, which are found in these crates in places like gun stores, barns, and other random locations. Next, we have police weapons, which are good mid-tier loot that can spawn in these crates or dropped by police officers found in police stations or particular random events. Then we have military weapons, which are better than police weapons but are mostly outperformed by later classes found in these crates or can be dropped by military zombies which have them visible on their person. Next we have Soviet weapons, many of which are amazing late game weapons, generally found in Soviet locations such as Mansion, coastal bunkers, or the Soviet cave. Lastly, we have Special Forces weapons, all of which are amazing endgame loot and can be found in these bags. There are also special weapons, these of which are marked by the special tag and are essentially other weapons with a unique modification, such as the broadside Lupara and the boomstick coach gun shooting both barrels at once. The Patriot, not only being an MGS reference, is the second fastest fire rate primary in the game and comes with 100 round mags. The Obrez is uniquely trash, and the Sweeper Desert Eagle is an automatic deagle. These special weapons are only dropped by special zombies and make up some of the best guns in the game. I have done a previous guide on special zombies, though that one is now outdated, and I may make a new guide in the future on special zombies as well. Moving on to utilities, these are equipables that serve various functions such as stat bonuses, active functions, and some that alter gameplay mechanics. These are so scattered and rare I actually cannot give you specific locations, but here is the full list of utilities and what they do. Which utilities you would pick as your ideal set is all personal preference, like guns, but what I would pick personally would be the trauma kit as a bonus for health in combat. The multivitamins is a must if you're carrying boosters. The gun cleaning kit is a big help as I have notoriously terrible aim. Padded soles, as I very often try to sneak up on people. Athletic gear is a great help for dodging bullets, and a warden blood vial if available. If not, then sharpening stone or scent cover hunting spray to help deal with the infected. You can only equip a maximum of 6 utilities, so choose wisely, and you spawn with a flashlight, so I recommend dropping that once you start to get more utilities. Like guns, you can always use a better backpack, and if you've just spawned in, it's a good idea to look in these tall closets in civilian houses as they often spawn small backpacks. Also, like guns, the better backpacks are more rare, with the maximum backpack capacity being 56 slots. These 56 bags are usually in the form of duffels, though there are also survey backpacks, heavy rucksacks, sea bags, and heavy recon backpacks. Despite the name, these do not alter the movement speed of your player. These late game backpacks are a great visual cue as to whether an enemy player has a lot of gear. It is a good idea to pay attention to an enemy player's bag before you enter a fight to preemptively gauge how much loot they would have, such as a player with a late game backpack will likely have late game weapons too, and a player with an early game backpack or no backpack at all will likely have early game gear. Though every situation is different, you should not assume someone has early game gear from their lack of backpack, because that's an easy way to let your guard down and get mowed down by a surprise M60. True story. Attachments can make or break a gunfight, which is why they are the rarest type of gear. They are found inside these yellow attachment cases, on top of this case in police random events, on top of this case in Humvee checkpoints, and rarely dropped by specific zombies. Each gun has particular attachment slots, which can be seen by hovering your mouse over the gun when it's equipped, but there are only 3 attachment types. Sights, which do little more than changing what it looks like when you aim your gun. These can come in a variety of magnifications, and most likely the first attachment you're going to find is the rifle scope, which for the love of God, please do not put on anything that's not a rifle. The 1x magnification sights are really just personal preference as to which reticle you prefer, though the fan favorite is the CQR. Underbarrels, which are a great help in accuracy, whether it be hipfire aim or recoil control, with the short foregrip notorious for being the rarest item in the game with no rare or special tags, and barrel attachments, which consist of only suppressors. These suppressors do not exactly reduce the sound of, though they change the sound of your gunfire. Every suppressor removes bullet traces, which are super helpful when entering a fight, as whoever you are shooting at will have very little clue as to where they are being shot from. They also do not attract zombies when fired, which unsuppressed weapons do. The only difference between individual suppressors are how much they impact aim speed and recoil, with the best suppressor being personal preference, whether you value added recoil control or less decreased aim speed more. Utilities and attachments, being generally rare and useful, are key aspects to being geared alongside late game weapons. Lastly, melees are really only important for killing zombies or embarrassing other players, therefore there aren't many options to choose from. Never have more than one melee, it's just a waste of space. When choosing your melee, you should really only consider the damage and the hit speed, since the best melee is the one that kills zombies most efficiently. Unlike guns, melees are a lot less personal preference and have a clear, most efficient weapon. In this case, determining the best melee weapon only factors how fast you can dispose of zombies, in which the USMC Officer Saber and the Resolved NCO Katana share the crown, as they both kill zombies in 2 hits and are the fastest with 0.7 seconds between hits, slightly faster than the regular Katana with 0.8 seconds between hits. The performance of a melee really only boils down to how many hits it takes to kill a zombie and how quickly it can swing. Most melees are 3 hits and the better ones are 2 hits. By the way, you don't need to worry about melee stuns infected stat, as every melee stun's infected when hit. One of the most important survival tips I can give is use headphones. Too many times have I snuck up on people that could have easily heard my footsteps had they been listening. Footsteps do sound different depending on what the player is walking on. especially if you're playing solo. Using headphones and listening out for nearby gunshots, zombie aggros, or footsteps is very important. Speaking of playing solo, the easiest way to survive in this game is with teammates. You can add teammates to your squad by clicking on their name in the player listing and clicking invite. Once they have accepted the invite, you can privately talk to them in squad chat by pressing backtick twice or clicking this button. You can also press G to ping a location, which they will also see if they are within 1,000 studs from the ping location. Holding G also pulls up this ping menu where you can change the color of your pings. You can only have one ping at a time, and these pings disappear either when the player walks through it or by selecting this red ping from the ping menu. You can see what clothes your teammates are wearing, what guns they have, and their health by pressing closing bracket or clicking this button. You can accept other players' team invites by pressing Y when the invite shows up, but do keep in mind that pressing Y also turns on your flashlight, making you more visible to other players, so be sure to press Y again to turn it off or drop it entirely is what I do. Do have caution when teaming with random people, as they can leave the squad whenever, which brings up this notification and only gives you 60 seconds to react, after which they can shoot and kill you. If you wish to play by yourself, you can click on your own name and click ignore invites, and that'll ignore all incoming squad invites. Note that you will not receive team invites if you're already in a team, even if you are by yourself, and you can leave a team by clicking on your own name and wait in a minute. Though teammates do help with surviving attacks from other players, they will not help with your food and water shortages. It's important to remember that if you lose a little bit of health, you can heal 20 HP by refilling your hunger bar, and that you cannot die from hunger or dehydration. This will still leave you on 5 HP, so this is not a good strat, as it only takes a zombie to breathe in your direction and you're dead. You should always be on full HP, so if you get into a surprise gunfight, you aren't at a disadvantage because you forgot to heal earlier. Even better, should you find a health booster, hold on to it, as they can be a lifesaver if used correctly. They increase your maximum health by 20, 30, 50 or 100 depending on the item, and all deplete over time. Be sure to use them only in gunfights right before a push or before peeking. There are usable vehicles in the game which can be used to run people over as a mobile storage or a faster way to get around the map with your teammates. Only some vehicles are drivable, and the main difference between drivable and non-drivable prop vehicles are their transparent windows and that you can only search the prop vehicles. If you have played for any longer than 5 minutes, you'd have found a vehicle repair kit. Do not pick these up unless it is to immediately repair a vehicle, because they take up a lot of space and are not worth carrying around in your inventory when the space could be used for more important things like food, meds, beans or ammo. Vehicles have 5 different damageable components, all of which can be damaged by gunfire, melees, or hitting things. These components have an arbitrary health value that can be repaired to a maximum by finding their specific repair kits. There are normal repair kits that repair 40% of a component's health, and there are quality repair kits that repair 100% of a component's health. Some repair kits, like glass or tires, do not have a quality version and will always repair 100% of their dedicated component. The vehicle body is usually the first and easiest to damage simply by running into something or shooting the vehicle body. The more damage that the body is, the less protected that the inside occupants are from gunfire. If the engine reaches 0% health, the vehicle explodes, deleting any items in the storage and damaging nearby players. The engine can only be damaged by shooting the front of the car. If the car flips over, it will drain the engine health until it explodes after 5 to 10 seconds, depending on the engine health to begin with. The engine being damaged does not affect driving whatsoever until it reaches 0% when it explodes. As the fuel tank health gets lower, the car will burn through fuel much quicker over the same distance. The fuel tank is the least important component when it comes to repairing vehicles, and it's often forgot about entirely. The windows on a boat is basically useless, but the windows on a car is slightly useful. Just like Blackbeard from R6, the vehicle glass breaks after being shot once, but it does provide protection to the passengers from a single bullet. Repairing the vehicle glass is still important though, as it protects you from being shot at least once and makes a loud noise, so it also works as an indicator that you're being shot at, alongside the camera shake and tracers if their gun is not suppressed. If the vehicle is a car, it will have at least 4 tires to repair too. These are arguably the most important components to repair, as their health determines how well you're going to drive. On most cars, the rear 2 tires' health determine how fast the car can go, and the front 2 tires' health determine how well the car handles. Since a tire repair kit repairs 100% of a single tire, you're going to need 4 repair kits to fully repair the tires. Lastly, both boats and cars need fuel to run, and this can be delivered in the form of gas cans, which can be filled by holding E on a fuel pump or another car with the fuel siphon pump utility. Each vehicle has varying amounts of storage space depending on the vehicle, and all of this will be lost if it explodes. Also, be wary of what you choose to leave in your car's or boat's storage, as your vehicle can be stolen by other players. If you're able to pull it off, running someone over is not only the most disrespectful way to kill another player, but it's also an insta-kill down to really low speeds. Take caution when attempting to run someone over because cars are very loud, so they most likely will hear you approaching, and if they react fast enough, they can easily spray directly at you and kill you before you can get close enough. And even then, if they move out of the way and you miss, this leaves you unable to fight back until you get out of the car, which takes a second. Moving on to zombies, they work really well at telling you exactly where another player is if they aggro a zombie, as they make a lot of noise and run directly at the enemy player. On the other hand, it is really bad if you get aggroed by zombies in the middle of a fight, as you have to take your attention off the other player to kill the zombies that are attacking you, because if you don't, they will just keep taking off 15 HP with each hit until they're killed. There are different types of infected known as mini-bosses. These make different noises, run faster, do more damage, and often drop weapons, ammo, meds, and or cosmetics. Certain mini-bosses can drop special weapons, and these weapons will be shown on their characters. To deal with zombies and mini-bosses, there is a strategy. Especially if you're on high ping like I am, you simply run through them and knife, timing it that the knife stabs as you are running through them. This strategy is also why I disregard whether a melee has multi-hit or not. Also, if you aren't bothered to kill zombies, you can just run away from them. This only really works with civilian zombies, because your character can outrun civilian zombies, but not military zombies or mini-bosses unless you get them caught on a fence or a wall or any object really. Just run far enough and they will de-aggro. Finally, we've made it to PvP. As soon as you are shot at or shoot another player, you will have a timer just above your hotbar that counts down from 5 minutes from the last shot. This is your combat timer, and this makes it so if you leave the game while in combat, your character dies. This timer and the red zone that surrounds you on the map resets with each time you are shot at or you shoot at an enemy. To get out of combat, you have to either wait out the 5-minute timer or run out of the red zone that shows up on your map. Generally, most fights in this game last either 3 seconds, 30 seconds, or 10 minutes. Being shot and killed before you can react or fight back is called pop-shotting. It's dirty, but it's generally how most deaths happen, being unaware of your surroundings and being killed before you can even react. If you're shot at out in the open, the first thing you'd want to do is keep moving. Turn your camera to get an idea of where the shots came from, and simultaneously look for cover, whether it be a tree, a rock, or a building. Heal if necessary. I generally only heal if it's safe to do so, and if I'm not wasting any health doing so, i.e. using a large medkit on 50 HP if I have smaller meds. If you do not know exactly where the enemy is, you can peek your character quickly out of cover repeatedly to get the enemy to give away their location by shooting again. This is called baiting shots. Another way to determine where the enemy is to shoot near edges of cover where they could be. If you shoot close to the enemy, both yours and their combat timer will reset, so you know exactly where the enemy is if you shoot behind some cover and your combat timer resets. Only pick out from cover to shoot back if A, you have over half health and are confident you know where the enemy is, B, the enemy is pushing up, or C, you are outnumbered. While behind cover, use third person to watch the enemy and use first person to aim when peeking out from cover. If you are by yourself and outnumbered, the enemy players are likely to split up and fight you from multiple fronts. This is a very common tactic. It was invented over 2,000 years ago. Everyone does it because it works. This is a very hard strategy to win against because if you focus on one front, the other player can easily shoot you from the other. Your best bet for fighting a split 2v1 is to track where both enemies are going, ensure you have cover from one, peek out and try your hardest to kill the other. This will then make it a simple 1v1 if done correctly. If the enemies are far enough away, retreating can also be an option if you can dodge bullets. Dodging bullets in this game really only consists of running, spam jumping and doing little spins in the air like a sweat. By the way, this spinning maneuver is done by going in third person and jumping and pressing W, S and D quickly in that order mid-air, or you can do it by just jumping and pressing W and S mid-air. If you are overwhelmed by 2 or more players, my best tip is to press the buttons Escape, R and Enter really quickly behind cover, as it gives you the best possible chance of winning the fight. If an enemy is running away, you can shoot once near them to prevent them from leaving the game by running out of the combat zone. This is called combat tagging. Lastly, one of the most important things to know in a fight is when to push. A big part of having game sense is knowing what guns they have, what guns you have, and generally what the situation is just by entering a fight. Most pushes happen after landing a lot of shots while the enemy has to heal, but generally don't push unless you have an automatic gun over 50% health and or a health booster. And during a push, make sure you're in third person. I made this mistake a lot when I started playing because in CQC, people often jump around to dodge shots, and if you're in third person, you can see more of where they are in case they get behind you. After a fight, be sure to be quick with looting because there could always be more players. Most pop shots happen to people looting bodies, so after a fight it's best to have a teammate, preferably the one that didn't get the kill, on the lookout for any possible pop shotters. If you're solo, you should give at least 10 to 20 seconds before looting, and if it's out in the open, you could even bait looting by opening your inventory for a second above the body and sit ready for any pop shots. But in most cases, the fight is over at that point and you're able to loot. Just loot with caution and listen carefully when looting because the gunfire could have attracted more players. Another lesser known thing you can do is hold Z to freely rotate your camera around. This can be useful for looking around while running in a straight line, or in this particular strat, if you know someone is watching you and they're about to peek, you can make it look like you don't see them. There may be future guides on the more intricate aspects like cosmetics, weapon cases, special weapons, random events, like my previous guides, but that would be far too much to put in a single video. A general rule for cosmetics is that cosmetics without the rare tag would be found in common places such as cabinets, drawers, as ground loot in civilian areas. For grinding these, I suggest using the Ashland or Salem laundromats, and rare cosmetics are mostly found by killing mini bosses that wear them. For example, if you come across a mini boss that wears like the blue bandana, most likely the only way to get the blue bandana is a rare drop from that mini boss, though some rare cosmetics may not have a corresponding mini boss and may spawn at random events, such as a ghillie suit that spawns at heli crash sites. On to events, there are 5 seasonal yearly events within AR2, Valentine's, Easter, the Drying, Halloween, and Christmas, all with their own unique weapons, cosmetics, gear, and gun skins. As of uploading, there are no events currently, and because the new map had just released, we do not know where the next event locations will be held, as they used to be primarily at Volcano, but that's not a thing anymore, so we're not so sure. In order of earliest in the year to latest, the Valentine's event is the smallest with the least content, therefore it's considered a mini event as it does not change the game very much, with only 12 cosmetics, 1 location update, and a weapon skin pack. This really is a nothing burger of an event. The Easter event is also just as small as it's also a mini event, with 13 event cosmetics, a new event consumable, and another weapon skin pack. This is also just a small cash grab for some weapon skins. Moving on to the Drying, the next event at the time of recording, and arguably the most popular. All of the map's waters had completely dried up with several location updates. This event so far had 83 event cosmetics, 4 different unique locations, 3 random events, a new and overpowered firearm, the one-shotting tank gewehr, a new consumable, and even new vehicles, not to mention the amazing lobby music. Next is Halloween, where the sky darkens and Goop reigns supreme. My personal favourite update with 69 event cosmetics, 3 new random events, a new melee weapon, the Slashing Abomination Claws, a new utility, 3 new locations, and a whole new dimension. And at the end of the year we have Christmas with Frozen Waters, Ice Castles, and Murderous Santas. This event easily has the most content and brings by far the most cosmetics with 122 total event cosmetics, 6 new random events, 5 new locations, snowmobiles, the ever annoying Santa's pig. 3, 2, 1.
No Russian. Why does it make that noise?
What is that noise? What is that?
Guys, I'm not kidding when I say this. It made
The Frost Longsword, several new event cosmetics, and several new weapon skins. So if the new map has brought you back into playing AR2, or if you're trying it out for the first time, go and start playing because everything has been changed since the alpha map, from weapon spawns, cosmetics, and even the natural loot progression has been changed to be more map based, with most of the player spawns being towards the bottom of the map where loot is few and far between, to the top of the map to places like Magnolia, which is very loot and player dense. I truly do enjoy this new map as it breathes new air into a once stale game. Yeah, it doesn't change many of the key gameplay aspects, and yeah, eventually the game will become stale again, but the new map takes a step in the right direction with really limiting the amount of time spent running, though we have many more years until AR2 can be considered complete.
I mean, I do agree with you that like the game, in terms of like feature wise, is still fairly much the same. You spawn in, you loot, you unlock cosmetics, you kill other players, right? So since this map is out, it does allow us to make further updates to it. So what we have planned, at least map wise, is just constant updates to locations, either new locations or altering locations, swapping out buildings, blah blah blah. So it gives us a lot more room to be more creative with the map and keep it fresh to those players.